And getting you the latest in the ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran. Today is day 9 of that conflict, which has only escalated. Israel says that it has taken 2 Iranian commanders, Saeed Izadi, who is the head of Quds Forces Palestine Corps, in a targeted strike on an apartment in Qom. Izadi was reportedly behind Hamas' October 7th attack on Israel, and Israeli officials call his killing a major intelligence win. Behnam Shahryari, who is the commander of the Quds weapon transfer unit, was eliminated in a precise IDF strike in western Iran, is another claim which has been made by the Israelis. And this comes amidst the deadliest phase yet, in which 430 people have been killed in Iran, 24 civilians dead in Israel, and massive aerial strikes on both the sides. Tehran has confirmed 5 Revolutionary Guards killed, but has not named Izadi so far. And Iran also claims 3 hospitals and 6 ambulances were hit by Israeli strikes. Meanwhile, Israeli air defenses lit up Tel Aviv's skies overnight as Iran launched fresh missiles. Here's a quick update.
Israel has claimed responsibility for the targeted killing of 2 top Iranian commanders as hostilities between the 2 regional powers escalated sharply. Israeli Defense Minister announced that Saeed Izadi, the head of the IRGC's Quds Force Palestine Corps, was killed in a precision strike on an apartment in Qom. Behnam Shahryari, commander of the Quds Forces Weapons Transfer Unit in the IRGC, was eliminated in a precise IDF strike in western Iran. Katz called the killing a major achievement for Israeli intelligence, accusing Izadi of financing and arming Hamas ahead of the 7th of October 2023 assault. The Iranian Revolutionary Guards confirmed 5 of its members died in Israeli attacks, but did not mention Izadi. Meanwhile, Iranian media quoted a 16-year-old was killed in the Qom strike and accused Israel of targeting the Isfahan nuclear facility. Officials have said there was no radioactive leakage. The Israeli military has said that it has launched fresh airstrikes on missile sites within Iran, hours after warning of a new missile barrage from Tehran. Explosions lit up the skies over Tel Aviv as air defense systems intercepted incoming missiles. Iran's close aide to the supreme leader, Ali Shamkhani, confirmed he survived an Israeli attack. Meanwhile, Iran named 15 of its air defense personnel killed in recent days. In Israel, 24 civilians have died. Amidst the violence, diplomatic efforts remain stalled. Iran has said that it will not negotiate under Israeli aggression. Still, Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi traveled to Geneva for talks with European officials.
Iran is ready to consider diplomacy once again, and once aggression is stopped and the aggressor is held accountable for the crimes committed. In this regard, I made it crystal clear that Iran's defense capabilities are not negotiable.
As long as it takes. That's the answer. As long as it takes, because we face an existential danger, a dual existential danger. One from 20,000 such rockets, 20,000, not one. This is one rocket, one missile. And the other is, of course, atomic bombs in the hands of this mad regime.
At the UN, Israel vowed to continue its campaign until Iran's nuclear threat is dismantled. Iran in turn called for immediate Security Council action. Russia and China have demanded de-escalation. As diplomacy falters and military actions mount, the region remains on a knife's edge. With Rhythm Arcadia, Bureau Report, NDTV.
And let me go straight to Aqaba border crossing in Israel. That's where Ankit Tyagi is joining us live. Ankit, what do you see around you?
Well, Maria, let me first tell you it's been a very long journey from India to reach Israel. As you remember, all the airports are shut. Through Jordan, we have made our way, and it's a very tedious process. The security situation in Israel is very, very, on high alert at this moment, and it took us many hours to try and go through the Aqaba crossing. I'm right now just 5 kilometers from that crossing because we are not allowed to shoot the border, near the border. And we are in Eilat. This is a small town here in Israel, and we are trying to make our way to Tel Aviv. Now, let me very quickly tell you what we have gathered so far. A new spate, a new wave of missiles from both sides. In fact, the Israeli Defense Forces have said that there were certain drones, about 40 of those, which were launched by Iran, which have been shot down by the air defenses of Israel. Meanwhile, Iran also says that Israel is now attacking their civilians. Here in Israel, the security situation is on a heightened alert. Largely from where I am in the south end of the city because all the other border crossings, which are closer to Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, are closed today. And we have tried to come all the way from Amman to the southern end of Israel, now making our way towards Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv and areas near that are the ones which are extremely affected. In fact, Eilat is one town where a hospital few days back we were told, was attacked by the Iranian missiles. It was targeted. Since then, in this area, at least so far, there hasn't been a major activity of drones and missiles coming in from Iran. But as you go closer to Tel Aviv, that's where the entire damage is. It is also the main targeted area. Iranians on the other side have been saying that if United States now enters, because remember, Donald Trump administration has said they will take 2 weeks before they decide whether they want to jump into this conflict or not. They are saying if Donald Trump or America jumps into this conflict, this is going to be, in fact, a very long, bloody conflict that both the countries are going to endure. On the other hand, the IDF has said they are preparing for a long haul, a long conflict with Iran till the time the nuclear capabilities of Iran are absolutely wiped out. So what we are expecting here is another round. There have been, in fact, instructions given to us as soon as we cross the border to be wary of the siren. As soon as that, is sounded off, you have to leave your car, run off the highway, and, there are shelters. I will show you where I'm standing. This is a bus station, and what you see, this one is going inside a shelter, and these are the kind of shelters which are there constructed all across on the highways in Israel. So if the siren is sounded off, I will have to make my way inside one of these shelters to be till the time the siren it does not go completely is sounded off. So this is a tricky situation at this moment, as NDTV now on the ground reporting from the heart of this conflict, which has this pitched battle between Iran and Israel has in fact put the entire world on tenterhooks, and we are right in the heart of this conflict, trying to get our viewers the latest updates here on NDTV.
Ankit, before I let you go, a word also on the fact that Israel has carried out second wave of airstrikes and has gone ahead and targeted Iran's Isfahan nuclear facility, and that happened shortly after Tehran launched a volley of 5 ballistic missiles towards central Israel overnight. And this looks like a war which could be a prolonged war. When of course, you have just crossed over and entered Tel Aviv. When you were entering and crossing the Aqaba border, what was the sense among the people, that they are prepared for a long haul?
One thing that you get when you enter Israel, that the population here is more or less mentally prepared for these kind of actions because of many years of training and the mindset that people have here. there is full support when it comes to Iran from the general population. While we were coming in, talking to them, most of the people saying that you be safe and look for the warning signs. But largely, I did not see any resistance to this whole idea of trying to wipe out. People do believe that Iran was closer to, in fact, making a nuclear bomb, and that is why all these strikes by the Israeli army and the Israeli defense forces are justified. So that's the sense as far as people are concerned. Like you said, a volley of 5 missiles from Iran, but remember, it's a spiraling impact. Iran accuses Israel of starting this by attacking their civilian nuclear facility, is what they claim. On the other hand, Israel says that for their own safety and for the safety of this entire region, these were preventive strikes that they took on Iran's nuclear facilities. Like you mentioned, Ifshahan, one of the largest nuclear facility as far as Iran is concerned, though Iranians say that there hasn't been much damage to the actual structure of the nuclear facility, but Israel has made their attempt, their idea, their resolve very, very clear. They will not stop till the time they wipe out Iran's nuclear capability, nuclear uranium enriching capacity of Iran. On the other hand, Iranians have also dug in, and they are in fact trying to responding to every attack that comes from Israel. So it's a viral, it's a spiral, a vortex that both these countries now find themselves in. Till the time there is international pressure or some sort of mediation, it only seems things are going to escalate from here, Maria.
Ankit, Tyagi, really appreciate your time. Ankit there, entering the war zone. Ankit, wear your helmet and stay protected and stay safe. We will keep coming to you through the next few days. So thank you so much for joining us. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said that Tehran is open to restarting negotiation on its nuclear program, but not while Iranians are being bombarded. Araghchi warned that any US involvement in the conflict between Israel and Iran would be very, very dangerous, and accused Washington of being complicit in the violence since it started. While he offered no evidence of direct US strikes, he insisted that diplomacy could work only if the attacks stop. This comes as US President Donald Trump delayed a decision on whether to strike Iran, demanding it should abandon uranium enrichment. Listen in to what US President Donald Trump said and what the Iranian foreign minister's response had been.
Mr. President, the Iranian foreign minister this afternoon said if the U.S. is serious about negotiations, that you would call up Israel and request that they stop their airstrikes. Will you make that request?
Well, I think it's very hard to make that request right now. If somebody's winning, it's a little bit harder to do than if somebody's losing. But we're ready, willing, and able, and we've been speaking to Iran, and we'll see what happens. Just a time to see whether or not people come to their senses.
Unfortunately, we have heard that the U.S. may join this aggression. That would be very unfortunate, and I think that would be very, very dangerous for everybody.
And joining us now is Dr. Kamran Bukhari, who is the Senior Director at the New Lines Institute for Strategy and Policy in Washington. We are also being joined by James Bowden, who is a Middle East expert. Mr. Bowden, how do you look at the situation on day 9? It appears to be only escalating.
Right now, actually, it seems like we're in something of a conflict plateau. There doesn't seem to be much indication that there's been an expansion. There might be. There has been some information that some B-2 Spirit bombers are being moved into the region. These could be being positioned in the Western Pacific, but they could be flown into the Middle East. So the strikes that we have seen have been pretty steady. We've watched actually a decline in the number of missiles that Iran has been able to fire. I think the only significant event that we have seen is an attack that looks like it took place at Simnan, which is one of Iran's key missile production facilities and possibly even launch sites.
And where do you think the nuke talks are headed between the US and Iran?
I really don't see them going anywhere. At the end of this, there's really not going to be a program to negotiate about. And that's why I continue to scratch my head every time I see stories about nuclear talks proceeding, even after this conflict, because Israel is damaging not maybe entire sites, but the percentages of these individual sites that they are knocking out appears to greatly retard any type of program that they might be able to conjure up. And I would say that negotiations would not be a relevant issue maybe for a year or two after this conflict.
All right, Dr. Bukhari, how does U.S. involvement and Donald Trump's potential decision to take military action, because he has spoken about a deadline, 2 weeks, he has said, raise concerns among the Iran, in Iran and also its proxies, which feel that there has been an American involvement now, because they could become a subject of American target?
Thank you, Maria. I think James is right. The Israeli strikes are continuously degrading these facilities. The one facility that is in question is the one that is buried underground and underneath a mountain, the Fordo facility. And so the question is whether the U.S. will go for that. My sense is that there are two things that are shaping the president's decision to give 2 weeks. One is that there seems to be some ambiguity over the technical ability to completely eliminate it, even using B-2 stealth bombers and the GBU-57, which is the massive ordnance penetrator, because the range of that massive ordnance penetrator is somewhere around 200 feet. And this is well beneath that, according to the reports that we're seeing. And mind you, no one really knows for sure the actual precise distances and whatnot, the numbers. So there is that sort of thing circulating. It was in the media. It was leaked to the media. And then there is an internal division within the president's base and party. And we've seen Steve Bannon and Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz come out publicly and sort of bring that internal debate to light. So the president has to weigh all these things in. And then the idea here is that if the Iranians are willing to accept 0% enrichment, because they're hemorrhaging pretty hard, and if they open up Fordo, fully transparent to IAEA inspections, and consistent monitoring, then maybe we don't need to go down that route. But that's sort of the thinking. I really don't know if either the Americans or the Iranians know what their decision will be. They are calibrating their position as new developments take place, both on the negotiating table, both publicly and behind the scenes, and of course in the kinetic battle space.
A word also on what the IDF is claiming right now. They are saying that they have killed Saeed Izadi, and this, of course, is a key point in this conflict, because he, according to the IDF, which is the Israel Defense Force, it was one of the orchestrators of the attack, which killed around 1,200 people.
Was that question for me?
Yes.
Yeah. So look, this is pretty consistent with what Israel has been doing. And the reason why it's able to eliminate all these people, down to tier 2 and even tier 3 now, because these are operational guys. I mean, both individuals performed specific key functions underneath the command of others, like the IRGC QF commander. You're showing pictures with him standing with the assassinated IRGC QF chief Qasem Soleimani, after that his successor Ismail Qani has been eliminated. We have word that IRGC QF intelligence commanders, both the top one and his deputy, have also been killed. So I think now they're at the operational level. And this is consistent with what we know of Israeli intelligence penetration of the Iranian regime. The interesting part here is that so far, and I could be wrong, I haven't seen any reports to this effect, so my view is that the Israelis have not struck any of the regular armed forces commanders or any of their key facilities. If anyone from the regular armed forces has been killed, it's been incidental because they weren't deliberately targeted. So that's something that is noteworthy, and there's a certain rationale behind it from the Israeli point of view.
Dr. Kamran Bukhari and James Warden, really appreciate your time here on NDTV.